Hey, brewery or small business owner. At the Beer Accountant, they understand the unique financial challenges of the craft brewing industry. Are you tired of navigating complex brewery accounting and taxes on your own? Staying up late working on financials and getting your finances in order after a whole workday? They're a CPA dedicated to helping breweries like yours thrive, with services ranging from qualified bookkeeping, business tax prep, to strategic financial planning. Stop wasting time on spreadsheets and focus on what you do best. Making great beer and running a small business, servicing over 50 breweries in 4 states. So if you own a brewery or small business, stop overpaying for reactive support and start being proactive with the Beer Accountant. Don't brew that IPA without this CPA. Visit beeraccountant.com to learn how their specialized expertise can help your brewery grow, profit, and succeed.
Are you a brewer looking to open, grow, or plan your next move? I'm Ted Zeller, liquor law attorney at Norris McLaughlin. I've spent my career working with breweries, helping them navigate the regulations that come with this industry at the municipal, county, state, and federal levels. From first permits to expansion into new markets, my team serves as legal counsel on licensing, compliance, and distribution. If you're ready to plan your next move or need legal guidance, I am here to help. Feel free to call me at 484-765-2220 or email me at tzeller@norris-law.com.
I was a product developer for Smirnoff products, Smirnoff Ice. I made my claim to fame is what I say is the peppermint twist vodka with the scratch and sniff label. It was so fun to do. And I still ice people all the time because it was fun. Like, why wouldn't you? I don't know.
Yeah.
How much of that was like, how did that catch on, I guess? Like,
I have no idea. And in
Okay.
fact, they didn't want to talk about it because they didn't want to promote that.
Well, it's like
Which I
splitting the
totally-
G. It's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Guinness is like, we're not talking about it, but like.
Also, Diageo, they're like, yeah, we don't want to really like promote this game, but we did it in the office. Like,
yeah.
it was really fun. And we had access to like the accelerated, what is it called? Yeah, when you put it in, it's a special microwave that basically ages it. Yeah, and so it was really diabolical.
Welcome back to the BrewedAt podcast, our 4th episode of CVC.
yeah, today's our 4th episode. It's the same day, but it's
Yes,
Amazing.
our 4th hour. But welcome, Richie, Tevlin, Evan, Blum. Sorry, that's like an inside joke, but not even a joke at this point. But Shanleigh from Shanleigh Thomson, the curator of Shan Ferments,
Yep.
and a adjunct professor at Washington State. Yep. So we're here to learn all about you, all about your kind of beer education, your history, and I guess welcome to Philadelphia.
Thank you. Excited to be here. I love Philly. It's a fun city.
This is not your first time being here?
Second time. So
Nice.
my friend, I did my master's at Purdue. I'll just jump right into that. And she works for Campbell's. So she does product development for, she does, all my friends, they either went one of two ways because I'm a food scientist by trade.
Yeah.
One of my friends went to snack foods, meaning like chocolate bars and granola bars. She works for Kind Bars right now. She does all the product development for them. Cool. And then my other friend did potato chips, and like Pringles was her first one. Now she's working on Late July tortillas. And then I was like, round it out, let's do alcohol. So I was always going to go that direction, but it really helped. So
it started like a trio of some sort.
yeah, I know. Well, they want to open a cidery, and I'm not like so stoked on cider. I mean, I'll drink it, but it's not like my choice, you know? Beer is obviously number one for me now, especially. But yeah, I mean, I started out, I'm from Manitoba, Winnipeg. Like, I always say, like, do you know where Fargo is? And like half the people do, but like most people don't. And then I'm like, okay, Minneapolis, and then go 8 hours north from there. It's cold, it's flat. I was in agriculture and food science there. Went to Purdue for my master's, which is on fish protein, actually.
I don't mean to stop you. Is that a lot of people from the area go into that? Is that a huge agriculture area?
Huge. We are the largest exporter of pork in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, and grain and canola was actually invented in the province.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're big. Like, I mean, there's only geographically, it's the size of Texas.
Yeah.
But there's only 1 million people that live in the entire province.
Wow.
Most, you know where Ice Road Truckers is filmed. That's where it's filmed. Like they run out of roads at like about 10 hours north of where I grew up. So
Wow.
it's crazy up there. My whole family still lives there. I'm like, I don't know why you do. It's minus 46 today. But anyways, not a lot of people leave because they're all farmers. They've got generations of, that. But I came from a different background. My parents are both doctors. So they're like, get out of here as soon as you can kind of thing. And I'm like, all right. And then, of course, I go to Indiana. I'm like, yeah, we thought that was the South.
South of you.
Yeah, I know. We had a Southern thing going way for me. And I'm like, this is not. Now looking back, I'm like, oh, that's not it. But I went to Purdue. And then when I graduated, I got my first big girl job at Diageo. So I was a product developer for Smirnoff products, Smirnoff Ice. I made my claim to fame is what I say is the peppermint twist vodka with the scratch and sniff label. It was so fun to do. And I still ice people all the time because it's fun. Like, why wouldn't you? I don't know.
Yeah.
How much of that was like? How did that catch on? I guess like.
I have no idea. And in
Okay.
fact, they didn't want to talk about it because they didn't want to promote that.
Well, it's like
Which I
splitting the
totally-
G. It's like
Yeah.
Guinness is like we're not talking about it, but like
Also, Diageo, they're like, yeah, we don't want to really like promote this game, but we did it in the office. Like,
yeah.
it was really fun, and we had access to like the accelerated, what is it called? Yeah, when you put it in, it's a special microwave that basically ages it. Yeah, and so it was really diabolical.
small. I'm gonna work. Like, I guess I just.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a sample.
Well, we had a catalog of like all of these Smirnoff Ices that had been essentially defunct, which were like the
my God.
Caesar or like the Bloody Mary Smirnoff Ice.
Ew.
The Screwdriver Smirnoff Ice.
Is the Bloody Mary one red?
Yeah. Oh, it was gnarly. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. But the cool thing about Diageo, which I kind of take into my everyday life, is the fact that you basically they come up with an idea and throw it at the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah.
And they're big enough that they're like, well, if it didn't work, we'll just take it off the shelves. We'll
Yeah.
just continue it. So it was a really fast-paced environment. It was really fun. They take care of their employees fantastically. But I really wanted more of a community. So I had applied to the UC Davis Master Brewers program and really wanted to get more into the actual, because my job was taking something from benchtop to 300,000 gallons, and like really moving it from a small benchtop trial into production levels. So, I mean, it's not glamorous. I was just pushing buttons essentially and like doing a lot of chemical work in the lab. But I really wanted to be more like involved and hands-on, and brewing seemed to be like the next step for that.
Were you into beer?
I was not really into beer. I was really into scotch and whiskey. So I'm a trained vodka panelist. That was crazy.
Vodka panelist?
You had to be up at because you can't drink or do anything before you taste the vodka. So you'd be up and at the lab at 7:30 in the morning, or you had a coffee and you're like, all right, first shot of the day. I mean, you're spitting it out, but it was like, ugh, those are some tough times. Telling you there. But, I was really into whiskey and I love the concept of whiskey. I still do. But COVID kind of fucked me over with that. I think a lot, we were talking just before, I cannot stand Columbus CTC because it's got a lot of sulfur notes to it, and Crush, another one, has a lot of sulfur. And I think COVID changed my palate. So I used to be super into Islay scotches, really heavy peat, and all those phenolics. And now can't stand them. Can't do a Schwartz beer. Can't do anything.
That was like an overnight thing?
It was after COVID. And I'm like, God damn it. I never lost my sense of taste, but I'm like, something changed.
Yeah.
So I think it was COVID. But yeah, it sucks because I've got all these really nice scotches and bourbons and
If they're aged now. Maybe they'll age into something that you like.
get rid of the peat. But yeah, so that was kind of my transition into brewing. And
How was the UC Davis?
it's different. So I teach there as well, but more just they guest lecture. So I just actually came back last week from doing that.
Cool.
So I get to see how it transforms.
Is there one specific class that you're teaching there?
I teach all hops.
Okay,
Yeah, because that's kind of my focus.
Yeah.
It's the cooler part of beer.
Yeah.
I do a lot of, with Washington State, I do food quality, food chemistry, some OSHA stuff, though. I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter, does it? I know a guy with a step ladder and no brew deck, and I'm like, that dude. like your lawn chair that you sit on in between batches is like doesn't have a bottom to it. I'm like, what is going on
It's
here?
not OSHA certified.
OSHA hates to see you coming. Like, but yeah, I mean, it's I love the whole industry, and once I started brewing, you know, it's hard not to love because the people are so good. And the Davis program back then was really geared to you passing the IBD exams. I mean, you still got your Master Brewer certificate, but you didn't get your diploma in brewing, which I didn't do because we were all very drunk during the exams.
Yeah.
Like, we were like, well, we were drunk during the whole course. So, like, you know, situational. We'll get drunk with the exams. We'll remember what we learned. It's like,
They did tell you that when you were in college, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think there's policies put in place because of our class specifically. I'm like, but I met some of the coolest people ever. Like, I know, like Colonel Bob, I talk about him all the time. He was in charge of the missile program for the Pacific Ocean. Like, when he was, you know.
He was a student with you?
He was a student because he's using a GI Bill. I still talk to Bobo all the time. I love him. He's such a cool dude, but I'm like,
Colonel Bob is a great name.
Colonel Bob. Bob Wicks. Oh my God. And his brother was a famous painter. And now he lives in Italy. And his two other brothers were like Olympians. And I'm like, what is this family? Love the Bobs. But yeah, I moved up to Seattle, got a brew job essentially right away. And then after a few years of that and like living on, you know, paycheck to paycheck, essentially, I was like, okay, kind of want to try something else. That's when I started with BSG. Which was great. I love working with, you know, large catalog, working with brewers, trying to figure out what you guys need, that kind of thing. And that was really my first foray into sales. And then after a few years with BSG, I moved into Yakima Chief. And that's really where my love of hops started, because working with the farmers, because like, again, growing up in a farming community, it was very much like, this is coming home. This is like, I know I get to work with the farmers specifically. I get to talk to them. I get to promote what they're growing, which is a really cool concept.
You also,
Yeah.
you have brewing experience, you have agricultural experience.
Yep.
You're probably in a unique position where like most people don't have either, but like,
Right.
it's very rarely you have both of those experiences.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I think I want to, provide that outlook for people, like that purview of, you know, it's not just brewing, because I don't think people get the concept of, you know, it is farm to table. I think they see it's a beer, and like where the pellets come from aren't really an issue. It's as long as they're the right price, which, don't get me wrong, is important. But there's a whole bunch of other huge factors that go into like the purchasing of hops, the growing of hops, how it affects the farmers, you know, like that equipment is expensive and it's only used for 30 days out of the year, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like a couple of $1 million just laying empty for 11 months of the year. So it's very much like how brewing, and specifically craft brewing, is really cool from a supply standpoint. And like, there's no other product out there like it, you know, where we're promoting farmers, like on the label, you know, like when you really break it down. I was telling my friends, like, who are in product development, it's like, how, like, you guys don't put on your label, you put the ingredients on your label, but like, do you know where you're getting the oat flakes from? Other than like,
There's at some point it went from like all the Yakima Chief specifically
Yeah.
started promoting their different hop blends
Yeah.
and the ranches like it was like a new craft beer label.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then I got to work for Roy Farms after that, which even narrowed the scope.
Yeah.
further, which was awesome, working directly with the farms. Those are cool people. And then they merged with Crosby, and then I started working on Shan Ferments a little more full time, mainly just to promote like education,
Yeah.
and break down like some of the barriers to like learning about this stuff, because, you know, it needs to be said. Like, the problem is with not the problem, but a lot of people who are on the sales side, they're trying to sell you something. So they're not really giving you a full picture of the information. The farmers don't necessarily know how to talk about this in a way that makes sense to the brewer. The brewer doesn't necessarily understand what's being done at a chemical level. So I'm trying to like blend that all in and be like, okay, here's the full picture. I have no skin in the game, just here for information. So
Were you doing any sort of, I guess, social media promotion or like general education promotion when you were working at like Yakima Chief or
Yeah.
and-
I was with at BSG during the pandemic, and my territory was Western Canada, which is geographically 56% of the United States. So it was huge, and I'm not traveling. So my concept initially was like, not necessarily to sell the products, but to like, let's be honest, they have a huge portfolio.
Yeah.
I didn't even know half the products that were in our portfolio. Like someone would call me like, hey, what's the price on this? I'm like, we have that? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, so everything.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Thousands of products. And I had so many clients that I just wanted like a way to get out information quickly.
Yeah.
And that's really where it stemmed from. And then with Chief, it was kind of the same thing, but it's easier to talk about like, instead of like ALDC, you're talking about like a hop that's new or, promoting that.
What I think ALDC is cool.
I think ALDC is cool.
Is
Okay.
not brewing all the time. Probably doesn't care about ALDC.
Right,
They want to
right.
about Sabro or some other cool hop.
Well,
but
and that's just it. Like, I find it interesting that like consumers know what beer is and kind of understand what a hop is and what hops they kind of like, but not really.
Yeah.
Like I hang out with a lot of people who drink beer and they obviously hear me talk at nauseum about this stuff, but like, I'm like, okay, what's your favorite hop? And they're like, we have no idea. And I'm like, okay, like, do you even like what you're drinking? Sure. It's like, there's just general public. And what I tell brewers and even like, some hop farmers, like the general public does not care. They just want it to taste good. They don't care what hop is in there.
Yeah.
Like they're trying their best, but a lot of people are just not as invested as other folks are in what hops are in this, And so I'm trying to bridge that gap a little bit too.
Yeah.
their palate's not defined. It's like maybe they're drinking and they can point it out, but they don't know what it is. And then you put words to it, like this is the flavor that you're tasting.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm gearing this more at like people interested in beer, people interested in wine, people are interested, like at all levels, which is, I think that's the toughest part about all of this is like, I can talk about everything having to do with hops. And when I was teaching at Davis, half the class was from AB InBev, from Brazil. So they're sending people to get trained at UC Davis. And then their other half are craft brewers or people in, trying to get into craft beer or already own a craft brewery. And teaching hops, especially like the logistics side, to two different sets is very difficult.
So cheap too in business.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like, well, the people at AB InBev, a lot of this is just going to be information about the chemical aspects, selections done for you, like realistically. And you're just looking for consistency. Whereas the craft brewers, I'm like, well, here's a whole bunch of other information that you're going to need. So my social media and my educational elements are like trying to gear to both sides or like people just getting interested or homebrewers. Not that homebrewers are bad, but they have so many fucking questions. It's just like, I love homebrewers. I love them. They're great. And I love the passion behind it. But sometimes it's like, okay, that's enough. I got 30 text messages in one day from one guy. I'm like, yo, what?
Did you see they're going to allow home distilling?
I'm worried about that.
So wait, what does that mean?
Somebody said that the ban on home distilling, some government thing.
Is that a federal thing?
It was there was like a federal ban on home distilling because you can mess it up and like go blind. But,
Yeah.
they said that it was illegal to ban that, which I mean, you can have a machine gun, but like, why can't make booze? I can see like both sides.
Sure.
But it's I don't know. Home brewing has been a thing, but I don't know if like home distilling is that about that a renaissance or is that just
I don't know. I don't like.
do people? I mean, if you're involved in kind of like home brewing, is the home brewing community talking about that at all?
A little bit, but I think they're more. I mean, I think every home brewer that I know has tried distilling, but I think it's a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a grain father, and I've got like the hat that you can do the distillates with.
Yeah.
And I've done some distilling using some very illegal techniques. And it's when it's done right, it's fantastic. But like, you have to be so careful about it. Like truthfully, you could be drunk and make a beer. Like if you're trying to like.
I think most homebrewers are drunk.
Yes. I mean, I was. Now I can't homebrew. Like I like to have, I like my trench drains. I like to be able to spray everything down.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, what do you mean I'm having to weigh out like to the ounce? I'm very not precise.
After I did my first commercial brew, I've never homebrewed since.
No, exactly. Like you can't go back to it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I just love this industry though. I tried to get like a big girl job over the summer, and I was selling juice, and I was like, culturally we did not get along, me and my boss, but like I told her, I'm like, oh, this is the first job I've ever had where I can't drink on the job. And she's like, what? And I'm like, no, but actually, what do you mean I can't drink?
You're drinking vodka. It's really
Like, yeah, like, okay. What?
It's crazy.
Yeah. But the beer industry keeps pulling me back, and I just love it, you know? Like, I can't see myself not in it.
No, it's very exciting, and I knew craft beer the last couple years has kind of gone down, plateaued, but we've been talking. And I think the last couple of months, I think it feels like there's a lot of excitement in craft beer again. Things are kind of coming back.
I agree. Like, I see not really as a litmus test, but I definitely see, these events that are being promoted, and no joke, like they're being sold out in minutes.
Yeah.
There's a new one. My friend Carrie runs a tap room, Fair Isle Brewing out of Seattle, mainly lagers, saisons, very small but excellent quality. They just literally started promoting this event like a day before they put the tickets on sale. It was Ferry Fest, so on one of the lakes, they're renting out like an old ferry, like a debunked ferry, and we're going to do, it's lagers and saisons at sunset. It's called Ferry Fest. VIP was sold out in 60 seconds.
Damn.
They literally started promoting it the day before they put tickets on.
Wow.
And then General was sold out in it's only 350 tickets, I think, but it's like sold out within 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Done.
it's crazy.
And like, these are not cheap. These are $140 a ticket for GA. Like,
Yeah.
and I told her, because she was like, yeah, we're putting them on. Like, I was asking, and I was like, well, what's the ticket limit? And she goes, well, we don't have one. And I put one on right now. Right now. And she's like, oh my God.
I don't want to deal with this headache.
Yeah, no, you're not going to like what happens. I promise you. It's crazy. But like, I see that happening. And like, there's a few other festivals, Firestone Walker being one of them. The Invitational sold out within 5 minutes. There's a one, Fort George Brewing out in Astoria, Oregon. Their Festival of Dark Arts was, I believe it was 7 minutes to sell out. So like, you're right. I just see like, not necessarily like as these are specific people buying the tickets, but it's like, it can't be dead. Like the industry is still very much alive if these events are being sold out so quickly. People are going to them, and there are thousands of people, It's, I'm very optimistic about the industry. I think we got a lot of false information because they're like, Gen Z doesn't drink. It's like, yeah, but when we took that metric, Gen Z was 13 years old.
That is, so a little background, like,
Yeah.
I have this BrewedAt is like a Gen Z media company. So that is my whole mission, is like defuncting that whole
totally.
statement. It's, yeah.
Like they're looking for, but the generation is looking for quality. They're not looking for the same things maybe we were doing. We're not going to be making milkshake IPAs all the time anymore. There's a lot more, I think, intention behind beers now because supplies are way more expensive. It is expensive to brew beer. And I think now people are looking for like, well, if I'm spending $20 on a 4-pack, I want it to make sure not only do I love this beer, but also, from a brewer's perspective, that it's great quality, And so I think it's unfair to say that it's dying industry. I think it's definitely changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you think the disconnect is right now between like, education of what you're trying to put out there and like what the general public is like not understanding, that like us as an industry, we kind of know basically everything. Like, well, what do we need to be focused on, like teaching customers? I
see, like, obviously I'm biased, but I think supply chain is what maybe we shouldn't be focused on. But I think, I think what in Washington we do a lot, well, not a lot, some places put down on their menu or their extended menu, not just what the hops are, but this is where they're from. These are locally sourced. These are, this is coming from this maltster. This is coming from, even if it is BSG, it's like, well, this is malt likely from Minnesota or like Alberta or whatever the case is, providing some insights into, you know, what those supplies are and why they're expensive, you know, like, because truthfully, I don't know that you can get cheap ingredients anywhere. It's not like you're like saying, oh, I've got an Amazon, you know, grain bill. It's all the ingredients do come from somewhere, and 99.99% of it is a small locally owned something, you know?
I think adding that sort of information, adding that education of the kind of like the see-through that the customer can see, that adds to their perceived value of the product. So it's, you can charge more money for it, or just to charge the same, and they feel like they're getting more value.
Validated.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, even if it is like a milkshake IPA, like it just providing them with a little bit of insight, like does allow them to feel like they're not just like, oh yeah, no, I'm spending $20 on like a Pilsner. It's like, yeah, but that's Bohemian floor malted Pilsner malt.
Yeah.
That's expensive. Okay. That's why it's like $30 for the sport pack, you know, or whatever the case is. But, you know, I think being able to see that, even if you know nothing about beer, it does provide like, oh, it's a little fancier, or not, maybe not fancier, but at least they kind of get that sense, that perception, like, oh, it is, you know, Bohemian or malt.
We talk about in this podcast, or we have been recently, that craft beer has been around for so long. I think people just assume that everybody knows so much about craft beer. But I think that, again, the general public is less knowledgeable now than they were 10 to 15 years ago. Because, you know, there's less home brewing, there's less people into it. They just assume like everybody knows what craft beer is, everyone knows what a hazy IPA is, so they must know everything now. But I think that most people know less now.
I agree.
So it's almost like a good way to market is just to like educate. It's just, we have to re-educate these people. It's just a constant state of education, teaching, because the education is our marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And I think that I'm not, like I said, I'm not really trying to educate the general population, but if it does help more, I'm excited about that. But I think and it's not necessarily the job of the brewery or brewer, but it definitely helps, you know?
Like, so when I was getting a craft beer, it was like Sam Calagione, Garrett Oliver, all these people, they were going out, they were doing beer dinners.
Yep.
They were teaching people, and their marketing wasn't, hey, put me on a Super Bowl commercial in like a funny outfit.
Yeah.
The marketing was education.
Yes.
And even if it was education at a large scale, it was still education. And like, you're able to do that now with just social media and kind of get the same reach that they were back 25 years ago.
And I think that's just it too. Like, they were at the forefront of something that doesn't really exist anymore. Yeah. You know, and you're right. I think you're right. The consumer, like, if you ask an average consumer what a 60-minute IPA actually means, like, I don't think that they'd be able to, but I guarantee a few people back then would definitely know.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, like, I think for a while, craft brewers were like looking at customers and be like, don't care about the IBUs. It's like that's not as important as opposed to like your relative bitterness.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, yeah, but now these people don't even know what an IBU is because you told them not to think about it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I think there's a lot of things like that where it's, just this lack of understanding.
I think there's something you can dive in on is local. Like, if everybody goes so hard on local, there's a buzzword for Gen Z.
Yeah.
It's like, and I don't think everybody knows, like, I think they know craft means local, but it's like, if you just keep hammering that, that is going to be such an impact, I really would think.
Yeah. Did you see any of this when you were working at the hop companies? Like, were they trying to get further and further down the supply chain of like kind of like getting farmers to come out?
Yeah, there was definitely that push. I think there's, depending on the way that the supply chain works and depending on the company, yes and no.
Right, because some things they kind of get pooled.
Yeah, it's a lot more political than you think, and not like political as in like federal political. I mean, just political. So I think that's the thing that I was most surprised at when I joined. It's very much, it's a game. It's a big game for a lot of folks.
As much as craft beer is like a much more, open industry, it's still like a company at the end of the day. Yeah. It's like there's no getting around crazy company politics.
It's crazy. Like, it's not just the company. It's like, imagine this, like, most of the hop farmers in Yakima are all coming from Quebec. Like from in the 1800s, they all moved to Yakima and the valley, and they all started hop farms, and now they're all competitors. So it's all related. And like, it's not just like company politics, it's family politics too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I've got, I'm not allowed to tell the stories, but it's very interesting. Like the dynamics that exist within, so to your point, like, yes, there was promotions for these, for farmers and farmers getting out there, which is great. And you'll see some of them at CBC, which is awesome.
John Siegel's coming on.
I love John. John's awesome. And I love the farmers. Oh, like so much. Like just genuinely amazing people.
Yeah.
And I love seeing John like promote his work. And like he's doing his own thing. He's like, yeah, I've got hops. They're for you now. And it's like, that's awesome. The Jacksons out in Idaho, so the people that invented Idaho 7 and Idaho Pink, both like they do a lot of that self-promotion as well. Not quite the same as John, but and then Coleman has been blowing up. We love to see it. CLS and Coleman, you'll see a lot of their stuff around because they're still working with, Chief, Haas, whoever to provide that supply chain and provide that ease to brewers, but they're doing their own self-promotion and be able to sell their own hops direct to people, which I think is kind of the way that I'm going to see supply chain.
Is that, I don't know much about the supply chain. It seems like there's so many different companies. I don't know who owns who.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Most companies kind of sell a little bit of their stuff to the larger hop companies, and then they also like kind of do.
Not all of them. Some of them. Yeah. It's very convoluted. Like I've got on one of my slides, I've got a spreadsheet, like, or not a spreadsheet, like a organizational chart. Yeah. And it's like they are owned by them, and then they work with these guys, and then they also have like proprietary hops, but like Chief only has like 6 proprietary hops, but technically they have all of these other proprietary hops with Haas because that's the HBC. So they're the competitors working together, but technically that's not YCH, that's YCR. So it's like, it's very convoluted. It's very much like, and it changes, I would say, quarter to quarter. Like I don't know if I can keep up with it all the time.
Yeah. I met someone from Hopsteiner 2 days ago. Not even at CBC. I was just doing a tasting, and he was in town golfing, so I met him.
Of course.
But he was like, "Well, you should buy hops from us." I'm like, "Well, I was thinking like, the last time I bought hops was like Yakima Valley hops." I was thinking I don't even know if that might be one of your companies that you're related to. It might be another company, but like, I don't even know what to tell you if I'm buying your hops because I don't understand. Kind of black box.
Even before I got here, who was I talking to about that? Like. Like we're buying from them, and I'm like, everyone knows that. Everyone's so aware of that. And one of the brewers is like, I didn't know. I'm like, listen, nothing surprises me anymore. But it's so true. There's Yakima Valley hops, there's Yakima Quality hops, there's Yakima. Just found out about Yakima Classic hops. I didn't know that existed, and that is a wild
to like
wild website too. This guy made it himself, and I'm proud of him for whatever that is. I've never met him, but I kind of want to now. It's Yakima Classic hops. It's a Wix site. It's so cool. I'm like, this is such a throwback.
Check it out. Tag it in the links.
He does a lot of work out in China, apparently. So I'm like, cool. That's awesome.
What, now that you're on the other side of the education, are you seeing different things taught? Like are breweries interested in different things in your curriculum? Like, 15 years ago, everybody was like so hard on diacetyl. 20 years ago. Now, you always never hear diacetyl in the industry. It's solved it.
Yeah.
But are there other issues, or are they asking you guys to start teaching people things?
Not necessarily, but I mean, I do see like hop creep is a huge one.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that I teach more of now. The survivables, the concept of the terpenes not making it through to the final product, and what does make it through, how you can really adjust your brew to make the most of your hops. I think that's something I definitely promote more now, or I work through more with people.
As far as like the biotransformation? When I was at brewing school, that was not a thing.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And biotransformation is a huge element to this now. Anyway, mash hopping and like techniques that existed kind of before, but are being brought back, but kind of in a different light. And I mean, there's a whole seminar going to be done by, I think, Omega, Phantasm, and who else? Anyways, it's on tiles and it's on that whole concept of biotransformation. But yeah, I wouldn't say the basics haven't really changed, but alpha is not really a thing anymore. Harvest windows, that's a huge thing that's becoming an element to consider. My Terroir Tuesdays, that's why I'm promoting Terroir, because I think what people don't understand is those can be completely different hops. Like I use Mosaic as an example all the time. Mosaic is in Washington is a completely different hop than it is in Idaho, that it is in Oregon.
Yeah.
I've heard, I think Chinook in Michigan tastes like Mosaic or something.
Yeah, I've heard that. You know what was crazy? I was in Davis, and Dunlow Brewing, which is owned by a ex-Davis grad, great beers. I noticed like Idaho Gem on the menu a bunch. And I'm like, first of all, I haven't seen Idaho Gem in a hot second. I'm like, whoa. And he's like, well, I substitute it when I don't have enough Mosaic. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Like, that's crazy talk. But like, I think the fact of the matter is, no, they're not genetically the same, but certain hops can elicit the same flavors and elements that you would find in like a Mosaic or a Simcoe or a Citra, and maybe for a little cheaper, I find it fascinating, the creativity. That's the creativity part. And that's what I tell a lot of the students or people. I'm like, it's a science. No doubt about that. Brewing is absolutely a science, and a lot of the best breweries that I know, they've got an engineer. One of the guys on the team, especially the bigger ones, has an engineer, because there's pumps and like it's a lot of pneumatics, a lot of like, it's really cool to see. But there's a creativity that you have to have, right? Like, it's a recipe, it's spices. Like, you have to be a creative person to run a brewery, to have the ability to taste those nuances, because even if your average consumer doesn't taste it, that's your product that you're putting out there. And if a Garrett Oliver or, a Julian Schrago comes in, you want them to love that beer. I think it's cool to see the pride, like no one's putting out beer that they're not drinking, is my opinion, even if it's bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, they've had to have tasted it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Someone told me a while ago that it's like, sometimes it's cool to use different hops that other people aren't using. Like they were referring to like Amarillo, like they like using Amarillo because it's like, it was very cool. It's not so cool anymore. Yep. So it means the Amarillo you are getting is the best Amarillo.
Yep.
Because they've learned how to grow it over the last 15 years and people aren't taking the best crops. So then you have the chance to get in some like higher level, lesser used crops.
And Amarillo's got a lot of studies going on right now through Hop Technic about crop window. So like the harvest timing and how that affects Amarillo just generally. And it's fascinating. Like the early pick stuff is like an orangesicle. It's really delicious.
That's cool.
But like later pick obviously has more of those like herbal notes and a little bit more spice. And it's just fascinating, like seeing the research. I don't know if you know Tim. He's one, I don't know what his official title is. I know no one's official title. I just talk to them. But Tim's like 7 feet tall and he's got black hair, and we call him.
Who's he work for?
He's Hop Technic. So basically Virgil Gamache Farms. So who owns the brand Amarillo, and he's huge, giant man, and he's so dry and funny, but we call him Timarillo because that's all he works on.
That's funny.
But yeah, if you ever get a chance to meet him, fascinating dude.
Well, I'll be super tall. We'll look out for him.
Oh yeah, you'll know exactly who he is. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Nice. I think these are half-hour episodes. I think we've gone a half an hour.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we might have.
So where can we find you? I mean, I know Shan Ferments.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you also have the website and like the newsletter and the blog and everything as well, right?
Yep. Shan Ferments at Substack, Shan Ferments on Instagram. I don't know how to do the TikTok thing. I just watch a lot of TikTok.
Honestly, we're like, if you have enough Instagram reels, you can just repurpose it for TikTok.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Don't feel the need to make different content for TikTok at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm millennial. I grew up with the Instagram. I do love TikTok though. I find it so fun to watch. But my algorithm is messed up. It's not my Instagram algorithm is really messed up. All I get is like glizzy talk. I'm like, why are there so many hot dogs?
I think you can reset it.
I don't really want to.
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay with it, but I'm like, what is happening? But yeah, I mean, Instagram is kind of the main point of contact for me, and everything else is in my link in bio kind of thing. So trying to figure out social media because it's not my forte.
Well, you're very good at it.
Thank you.
Like your short form videos, the education, like what we were saying, I think that there's this lack of connection between new drinkers and actually understanding how beer works.
Yep.
And you do like a really great job. And like what we're trying to do is like what you're already doing, like you're educating people where they're at on Instagram. So
I appreciate it. I'm trying. Thanks so much for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. And great beer.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you. So I'll shout out myself then. Space Cadet Brewing. This is Clean Shot IPA. But yeah, that's all we got. And then follow us at BrewedAt, at the BrewedAt podcast. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Sweet.
Thanks.